Even after almost 25 years since release, Taiko no Tatsujin, or Taiko Drum Master, continues to be one of the most popular rhythm games across arcades, consoles, and whatever that is. And since I made a video on what I thought was the darkest song on Taiko in a previous video, in today's video we're going to be talking about what I think is the most mysterious song in Taiko no Tatsujin, that is also a strong contender for the hardest. In this video, I'll be breaking down the song's origins, the song title that literally doesn't exist, and also how the song itself breaks Taiko players' reading. In order to begin explaining it though, I have to give you a short and simplified history of Taiko cabinets. Don't worry, I'll keep it short and you'll see why this is relevant in a bit. So we can kind of split up Taiko, the arcade version at least, into three main eras. First, February 2001 to November 2011. The first gen of Taiko arcade cabinets. These were the first ever Taiko cabinets and you may have seen them in person. The most obvious way to identify it was by its 4x3 display, as well as our little fellas Dan-chan and Ka-chan being in 2D. Some notable things that happened during this era were, well, the birth of Taiko no Tatsujin, introduction of the 4th and 5th difficulty levels, Oni and Ura Oni, and the addition of pretty much everything that would become a standard for Taiko gameplay. Next, November 2011 to March 2020. The second generation, or as I like to call it, the HD era. On the 16th of November 2011, Taiko no Tatsujin got a big modern overhaul. That 4x3 CRT display got swapped out for a big ol' LCD display, Bana passport support, meaning that players can make their own accounts and make them look however they wished, as well as saving their scores, and Dan-chan and Ka-chan come into glorious 3D for the first time. Some notable things that happened during this era were the Dan Dojo ranking system, which was a system that allowed players to test their skill by clearing 3 specific songs under certain conditions. Whole genre folders for Toho and Vocaloid songs. We love that shit. And AI battle mode, where you could battle against an AI Dan-chan which would try to match your skill level for points and rewards. Then we move on to the third and current era, aka Nijiro or Rainbow era. The screen gets upgraded again from an LCD screen to a full-on 120 FPS monitor. We also get a QR code reader for some reason, and Taiko's scoring system gets overhauled completely. Some notable things that happened during this era were Taiko's scoring system gets overhauled, finally after 20 years, international versions of Taiko get full localization for the first time, and Taiko finally congratulates you for getting a Donderful clear or a full combo of all goods. Who knows what else will happen during this era, but the reason I mentioned this was because of that little QR code reader.
And also for watch time!
One of the uses of the QR code reader was for exclusive events and the like. If you had an exclusive costume on a QR code, you could scan it on the reader and you could outfit your Dan-chan with whatever strange hogwash you want to put on him. However, the most well-known use of it was to unlock Ka, the song we're going to talk about today. On April 1st, 2021, the official Taiko Twitter account posted this QR code, with an accompanying teaser message, a conversation between Dan-chan and Ka-chan. So this is the mysterious code. Today onwards, this code will be available all over the world. All you have to do is hold it up to the code reader on the game console. I'll try it right away then. This is... After that, who saw the two of them? Now, I do realize I make a horrible narrator. I'm sorry, I don't know where to find voice actors. So, what happens when you do scan this mysterious QR code? Well, you'd be greeted with an entirely new genre in your genre folder. However, instead of actually being a genre like originals, Vocaloid, or J-pop, this new folder would simply read hidden data, with the subtext accompanying it reading Dame dayo, or literally, looks no good. How ominous. Inside the new folder, you would find just one song, that being Ka. So, let's actually talk about the song itself. By the way, Ka was composed by Leaf, infamous for their work on Mope Mope and Marinol, two extremely nightmare-esque songs in their own right. Also worth noting that Ka is intended to be a sequel of sorts to Marinol. Now, we're not going to cover Marinol in this video, but if you are familiar with it, you will know that we're in for quite a ride. So, the title. What does it translate to exactly? Well, nothing. I mean, quite literally, this kanji character doesn't exist. Ka is a literal ghost character, or a kanji character that doesn't exist but does in Unicode, whether by encoding errors or other miscellaneous reasons. It literally just doesn't exist. It's also important to note that Ka isn't the only ghost character. There are 12 of them. However, out of the 12, Ka is the only character that has no clear source for why it exists. There are reasonable explanations for the others, but Not this one. Hi, I've been editing this video for 6 hours now. I'm tired. So I did a little bit of digging, and apparently Ka does have a sort of sensible explanation for why it exists. So back when Japanese characters were still being put into Unicode and whatever, there was a village name with this kanji inside, and apparently for some goddamn reason there was a scribble beside it, like a literal just weird ass scribble. And a person who was compiling this kanji list scribbled it down as this radical. You combine the two and you get Ka. So yeah, there actually is a sensible explanation for why it exists, which is a bit of a shame. We had such a bit of a hook going, but you know, we can't all have nice things. Anyways, carry on.
Bruh.
Hi, I've been editing for 7 hours now. I'm very tired. So we're going to have to do a little bit of a double fact correction. So apparently I was half right. Ka really is the one ghost character out of the 12 that doesn't have a source or a historical precedent for why it exists. The most likely explanation is that it is a misreading of this character right here, but no specific incident was uncovered in specific. So, for all I know, that previous story I mentioned earlier could be correct, so I'm just gonna include that in there. I'm so sorry, there will be no more of this, I promise. One more thing to note, this character doesn't actually have an official pronunciation. I mean, it doesn't exist. The name I've been referring it by, Ka, was provided by the artist Leaf because, well, players still need a name to call it by. Alright, let's get into the song itself. I'll play back the chart for you. Hold on, just one more thing. Fast forward a year later into April 1st, 2022. The Taiko Twitter account releases another QR code with an accompanying conversation between Don-chan and Ka-chan. Scanning the second QR code gives us a 5th difficulty, the Ura Oni, or quite literally in English, Hidden Demon. And with it comes the flashiest effect in Taiko history. It is important to note, there has never, in the history of Taiko, been any special effects when switching between difficulties, except for this one specific April Fool's song. So you know we're getting to something good. So a song you get from a QR code, a difficulty you get from a QR code, and a title that doesn't even exist. Boy, what's next? Alright, let's get into the chart. I'll be playing both difficulties of the chart, Hidden Demon on top and Demon on the bottom, but I'll be focusing strictly on the Hidden Demon difficulty for this video analysis. Anyways, let's go. Oh boy, where do we even start with this? How about let's try dissecting the difficulty of this song. I'll start off by saying that Ka, the hidden demon, only got full comboed by one person on his first day, which is ridiculous considering how dedicated the Taiko community is. So why is Ka so difficult? And why does this difficulty contribute to its inherent mysteriousness? Well, to talk about that, let's talk about how reading in Taiko works. In other words, how Taiko players see notes. For the most part, Taiko players store patterns in our muscle memory. When we see these tree notes pop up, so this will be DDK, Don Don Ka, we look at it as one greasy chunk of notes instead of 3 individual notes. Same applies to 5-note patterns, 4-note patterns, and even 6-note patterns to a certain extent. We look at all of them as a greasy chunk of notes stored in our muscle memory. Now, this method of reading works because all the notes are traveling at a consistent speed. No matter how fast or slow the song goes, you're going to see the same pattern in the exact same way. So what happens when we have one note travel at a different speed from the other? Oh no. Those familiar tree note patterns become unreadable, to say the least. Now, Ka flips the script on you entirely by having basically almost the entire song have different note speeds at the same time. You can see this example in, well, basically the entire chart. It's important to note that Ka isn't the first chart to do this, so let's meet one of Ka's precursors, Don 2000. It's infamous for its gimmick of having 2 separate scroll speeds, aka note speeds, throughout the song. These blue notes, or Kas, always land on every beat. These red notes are charted to the percussion in the background, if you can call it percussion. Now, you meld them 2 together and you get a zany, unreadable, and very funny gimmick chart. Reading 2 separate scroll speeds to offbeat percussion sure is fun. Just like this fun fact. The first full combo of Don 2000 was 17 full days after release, and the first Donder full combo, or perfect full combo, was done a full 10 months and 14 days after release. Holy fucking shit. So now we move on to Ka. At its absolute worst, Ka has 3 separate scroll speeds to read to. Not even mentioning the fact that some of these notes are scrolling at an abysmal 330 BPM. If you think that's fast, that's because it is. It's important to note that Don Kama's separate scroll speeds do amp up to 3. However, this section only comes at the end, and it's actually the easiest part of the entire song. Ka, on the other hand, is just... It's that. I have no idea how this got full comboed on the first day. Not only that, polyrhythms. You may have heard this term before. A polyrhythm is essentially 2 or more different rhythms, for example, one fast and one slow played at the same time. A quick example of this would be this. Here's a 4 against 3 polyrhythm visualized through Taiko. There are 4 dons or red notes every beat, and there are 3 kas or blue notes every beat. I do realize I'm butchering this topic quite a bit, but my area of expertise is rhythm games, not music. So if you're a rhythm gamer and you've experienced polyrhythms and rhythm games in pretty much any form, you will probably know that it feels like someone's thrown a fucking vat of oil onto you. So what if every single goddamn instrument in the song was played at a different rhythm? What if the entire song was a polyrhythm in itself? That would be basically Ka, and the Hidden Demon chart embodies this perfectly. Almost every other note is to a different rhythm belonging to a different instrument in the song. Simplest example of this in the chart would be here. These red notes go to the synth in the background while the blue notes go to the vocals. One of the more complex examples would be whatever this is. God knows how Namco keeps making charts that push the boundaries of player skill, and God knows how people are FCing this. So there's a really good map showcase video by Jakads analyzing the rhythmic aspect of Ka, and I highly recommend checking it out if you're interested. Link will be in the description. So in conclusion, Ka. The way you unlock it is weird, the song itself is weird, the chart is weird, the video is weird, and the list goes on. All these factors, in my biased opinion, make Ka the strangest song in Taiko. Please do check out the amazing music video for the song by Fizz. It's an experience. So huge props for research on this video once again goes to Taiko Time as well as Latioslife, who helped me immensely with the script for this video. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. By the way, consider becoming a member on the channel. You get cool emotes. Very, very cool. And you also help to keep me alive.